All right. Yeah, so that was the argument. The argument I made was keep Fields, like you said, trade number one, get two other first rounders, and then take a even if they take what's the kid's name? Rome,
Yeah.
take Rome, draft an offensive tackle, and
Hmm.
then and now if it does blow up and you're terrible, now you can now you can draft a quarterback.
Yeah. That's
But
what I thought they
now
should have done.
on the flip side, there aren't really many great quarterbacks coming out
This
this
draft
class.
sucks. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this
I
class
mean, when
sucks.
Quinn Ewers is going to be the best
That's
quarterback
scary.
thing.
Yeah. Fields, I don't know. I mean, they had Detroit beat twice last year. I mean,
I know.
the defense was a fucking train wreck at the end of the season last year, but
I know.
Fields is a work in progress. I mean, I think they could have. I don't know that he's a franchise guy, but I don't.
No, I mean that's the thing. It's all just I don't know.
Uh,
It sucks.
yeah, it's tough to see.
Can
So,
you
so
can
can you hear me yet?
We can hear you.
Okay,
There we
yes.
awesome.
go.
Sorry, I have two laptops. One is newer, but I dropped it once, and ever since then, the mic has been terrible, but I can never remember which one it is. So that's the issue every week. Then I have to, this is my basement bar karaoke one, so I have to reset the mic on it
Oh,
so that,
nice.
it's not, anyway. Um, Not that anybody needs to know that, but the Bears probably, I heard you talking about Bears, I think, and quarterbacks and Fields.
Mhm.
I think that they got a quick trigger now. It's the Jay Cutler phenomenon, because they rode with Jay for so long and
So
and,
long.
and just hoped that those first down red zone interceptions were going to stop. And
Mhm.
they just never did. And I think, if they could go back and you have to, I guess you have to analyze every person on their own merits, but I think they've got a quick trigger, and I think Fields would have fit in sooner or later.
I don't
I
know.
think it would.
You could have played quarterback on those Bears teams though, Brent, with the absolute elite defense that was an elite defense they
They
had
were
back then.
scoring 14 a game on
Right,
defense.
exactly. So
Yeah, yeah. I
like,
mean, it's like the Joe Flacco Ravens, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
yeah,
but and I still wouldn't be the oldest guy to do it because they had Chandler back when I was concerned for his life.
Yeah.
Like 15 years ago, Chris Chandler
Chris
oh
was
yeah.
Chandler.
41 and thrice concussed during the season. So
Yeah,
They
that's
were they were I don't know. It's just we were talking. Dom and I were talking a little bit about like the cycle that everyone always jokes about with the Bears, where it's you keep the quarterback, or like they'll hire a lame duck head coach. Poles will get
right.
fired after next year. They'll release Caleb Williams the year after that, and then they'll be looking for a new head coach the year after that. Like it's gone on for like 15 years now or something, with starting with John Fox.
Tom Fox,
When
baby.
Fox drafted Trubisky, or no, did Fox draft or inherit? No, I can't remember. I can't
Fox
remember.
drafted because they didn't even tell him they were drafting him. I
That's
remember
right.
that. Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh, that's right, because that was the Mahomes,
Yeah.
and then the
Yeah.
massage
Watson.
parlor man
Well,
year.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, Trubisky's not the guy, but he's just falls into this weird area. He's better than a backup. I mean, honestly, he's had it tough. The Bears never bought into him, and he's not a mobile quarterback. But I always thought Trubisky was better than he got credit for. He gets shipped off to Buffalo. Nobody's starting in for now and there. He's in Pittsburgh. They go with the young guy immediately. Trubisky needs to be smart and not sign anything deep so that when a team gets a quarterback really hurt, he could come in. I think
he's
he's a good
gonna
quarterback.
he's gonna be like old what's his butt, old Dom Salvo Jr.
Oh,
making.
Chase Daniel, man. He's the
Yeah,
Chase Daniel.
I mean, he's gonna play in the league for 15 years and make $40 million. And well, how many
Yeah.
how many games did Chase Daniel start in the NFL,
Oh my
Dom? Like
God.
three?
Maybe five,
Yeah.
maybe.
And he's a
Right.
freaking bajillionaire.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's done
But he
well.
was also super smart, played in the right systems, played with Drew Brees for so many years and learned
Kept
the
his name out of
offense
the
from
headlines for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Just
right.
stay low, don't attract attention,
Right. So,
show up for practice.
I mean, Trubisky's, I mean, let's be honest, he's made hundreds, or not hundreds, but he's made tens of millions of dollars. He's got a full pension now from the NFL. Like,
Right.
he doesn't have to do anything else if he doesn't want to, and he's still is he still in Buffalo? Is he in the backup in
No,
Buffalo?
no, Pittsburgh, and then they got rid of him. I got to think of
I
where
don't
he
know
is.
where he is.
I think he's back in Buffalo.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay. Second trip to Buffalo.
I think he went back to Buffalo.
I'll
Yeah.
look
Or
it
no,
up.
he went to Pittsburgh first.
He's
Right, right.
back in
No, yeah.
Buffalo. He's back in Buffalo
So
now.
then he went to
Okay.
Pittsburgh right after the Bears, and now he's in Buffalo. So that's it's like the Packers sending quarterbacks to the Jets. The Bears send them to the Steelers.
He's got
Right.
48 million in career earnings to this point.
Yeah,
Backing up Allen's not the worst gig in the world until, I mean, he runs a little, I mean,
Right.
but it's been a pretty good gig so
he
far.
ain't that dude. That dude's a. Do you know a funny little tidbit I saw, Brent, and Dom, uh, had Josh Allen not gone junior college out of high school, you know where he was going to go play football?
Who? Where? Probably not.
Greenville.
For
Oh,
Herb,
Greenville.
Yeah,
really?
for Herb. No, not for Herb. He was going to go play at Greenville University.
Speaking Renegades.
Yeah. So I
No,
thought that
he's
was
the
kind of,
Rancho Cucamonga Saints or whatever
Well,
yeah,
team
he
he
had
had out
heard,
there.
yeah. I'm
yeah,
not going to bring up that. I mean, he had heard that there were wide receivers around that the Bears would call on a regular basis, so he wanted to throw to those guys.
That's
I'm
right.
sure.
That's
yeah,
right.
right.
Yeah,
Jeez Louise.
uh,
that guy.
I love it, dude.
So how everyone have a good holiday? It's been a little bit. We've had some mishaps on Wednesdays and people out of town and holidays and busy times. Everybody doing well.
Doing well.
Yeah, I mean, my family's getting through it. Obviously,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mom
Much love
died.
to you guys, Brent.
Yeah, my mom passed, and it was suddenly and unexpected. But we did spend Christmas together, and it was, when something's that sudden and unexpected, it probably went went as well as it could have went because we
Yeah.
were all with her 2 days before,
Yeah,
exactly where she wanted us, doing exactly what we wanted, and so, But I mean, it's been 15 years since Dad died.
right.
It it's hard because she was healthy. I mean, her doctor was as shocked as anybody. So it's hard.
Yeah.
The grandkids
No,
are having a tough time.
I'm sure. I mean, it's never easy. I mean, I couldn't even imagine going through what
Yeah.
you guys are going through. I knew you were feeling okay because I had sent you a text and you responded a few days later talking shit about something. I can't remember what it
Right.
was. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
he's okay. He's dealing with it, but he's doing okay. So,
Yeah.
I mean, again, obviously condolences and
Appreciate it.
we don't have to sit and talk about
No, I
that.
mean, but yeah, so yeah, holidays were great.
I'm
And
sure,
then
yeah, a
until a
little
certain
rough.
point.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Well,
Salvo probably came back to Springfield and didn't reach
I
out.
didn't. I would have told you. I didn't. I would have told you. I haven't been back. I haven't been back in a while. I need to get up there. But no, I did not go. I was here in Texas. So
in Tejas.
yeah,
Tejas. Remind me where are you Dallas?
Dallas. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
east side of Dallas.
East side. Nice.
Yeah.
I was listening to Brent, you'll appreciate. I've been listening. I just drove to Charlotte a couple days ago and back yesterday, and I was listening to a lot of Joe Rogan. And so he obviously he lives in Austin. I think, is he Austin?
I think so. Yeah.
But he talks about like Austin, Texas nonstop, and so I was like, oh, maybe I'll go to Texas. The football coach in me yearns for Texas, but they don't like Yankees down there. So
Well, but fairly interestingly, for Joe Rogan, and not for us to delve into this, but Austin's a pretty progressive town.
I
Very
know,
progressive.
And
I know
Joe's turned into a pretty conservative guy.
he
It's interesting.
has. I mean, it's I don't know. To me the allure of Texas is the heat. Like
Yeah.
I hate the weather right now, Brent. I know you can attest it. Like this, I hate
I don't
it.
love it. I don't love it.
Oh God, I just like the cold. I've never been a big fan of the cold. I don't know if you remember, Brent. I think you were playing Dom. There was a time in the AFL when we started our game. Like there was one season where
February.
we played our first games like February,
Hmm.
and there was a game we played. We went and played the Mid-State Thunderbirds, and it was, I kid you not, minus 10 degrees outside. I
Was
mean,
that at the park up in like Washington or wherever?
it was like a random park, and it was windy, and we had nowhere to get
Yeah,
dressed.
there was no outside structures.
Oh,
I
And
think that's right.
it was minus, like I kid you not, minus 10 degrees outside. It was the coldest game I've ever played in my life.
The one season opener when I thought I was going to retire the first time, maybe when Brock was born, I don't know, was down. Remember in against the Sharks in Carlinville in 3 inches of snow.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I remember that distinctly because I
That
was
was a
filming it.
that was a good time. That was a good time. Uh, because we were like a brand new team. Like we were like all
And it was tight. I mean, honestly, there were 2 seasons where we opened with the
that.
Sharks, and granted, we know their lifetime record, but it was tight for a while. I mean, it
Yeah,
really, the snow, everything else.
That was
us having some new players.
that was the indoor season, Dom. That was
Oh
you guys.
six.
That was you guys playing. No, no, no. Oh
Oh,
seven.
oh seven. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the year you guys were playing for the big boy stallions. So yeah,
The real big ones. Yeah.
that was
Oh, okay, they were out by then. I got you. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh six was
Oh six was the
yeah.
8FL. Yeah, you guys were the CIFL. The
We
oh
played
07.
our first game that year, and it was the probably coldest game I've ever played in against Jacksonville
It
at
you know what?
McMurray.
That must have been that had to have been the same season then
Yeah,
because
it was brutal.
yeah.
I think it was like
I don't
February.
know because I was always going to play the whole season.
It's like second week of
No,
February
no,
when we
no.
started.
The super cold one, Brent. The
Oh, the super cold one. My bad.
yeah,
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 my
yeah,
bad. The year before. I
yeah.
don't know if maybe I wasn't there. I don't. Heat or cold didn't bother me like it does apparently you, Tony. So
I hate it.
the
That was
heat
the
did.
game for us when Carlos Perry, halfway through the second quarter, we were trying to
Oh,
call a
went on the
jet sweep
bus.
to him, and he went and got
I think that's the.
couldn't
Yeah.
find him. We're like, where
Did
else Carlos?
did we ever play?
Nobody dies from cold stroke. Okay,
I
so
know.
you guys, I will take the cold all day long.
Did we
I
ever
would
The
too.
play
game against Decatur with the long field goal that Dom drove me home from,
that
I
you almost
swear,
died?
took
I know.
years off my life. Yeah, there's no doubt.
Did did we ever play? I don't know, either of you guys. Do you remember ever playing in like sloppy rain? I don't ever remember playing in like real sloppy rain
Yeah,
weather.
first
Just
year
the
at
game where JV
Farmington.
tried to kill Dom and Dan's hands were
Back
well, Effingham because we had trouble throwing the ball, and then Illiopolis when it rained and we had trouble throwing the ball. The ball was slick. You
I
know,
wasn't there for that one.
yeah,
yeah, you were, but that was. I mean, Dan was a great quarterback, but for a quarterback, he did have kind of small hands,
Yeah,
and we were using and required to use NFL
that
balls.
was right. That was where
And
we
when
have.
it got wet and our balls weren't brand new, he struggled. And I mean, I don't think it was his fault, but that was tough.
That was
I
one of
mean,
the when we went when we started to get more guys on the board. That was like one of the first things Dan brought was use whatever effing football you want. Don't stop trying
yeah,
to
just
use.
when
We
it
want
rains, we pulled out the JV ball,
the old
tried to throw it
rubbers.
around a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, those were always good. Do you remember? Do you remember, Dom? This was before your time when Kenton Carr was playing
Yeah.
quarterback for the Steel, and I swear to God, he was using like a JV youth football, and because he could throw that
Zipping it.
he could throw that thing 80 yards. It was like John Elway throwing that damn
That
Nerf ball.
turbo.
Yeah, and I remember looking at that football and just thinking like that is not a regulation size football. Like there's something fishy about that thing.
We had it. We had Inflategate before. I mean, like literally, we were trailblazers. We had the Inflategate before Brady ever even underinflated footballs. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Uh,
because we probably didn't have an air pump. We had no other choice. We were broke. We had nothing. We were
yeah,
paying referees and Brent or
yeah.
Chris had to buy all kinds of stuff for us, so we probably had no money to get an
I
air
mean,
pump.
I remember we like when we were only punting and not kicking field goals, and Eric Broughton like brought his own footballs, and I'm like, well, you can run them out there because we don't
Yeah.
have anybody to do that. So take it out with you, and tell the official you want it when we punt because that's we kick whatever's close.
Yeah. We did. We were what's progressive in that, bringing out signing kickers before we even needed a kicker.
Right. Yeah.
Like, oh,
And
good, we'll take up a
then
roster
we put
spot.
up with 4 years of lobbying for us to construct field goals on these 8FL fields,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Oh. Well, so what I know we got what so who the Chiefs play Sunday, Dom, or Saturday?
Chiefs are Saturday. Texans at 4 o'clock.
I hate the Chiefs, Dom. I love
I
you, but
know.
I hate the Chiefs. Like I can't
You
stomach
didn't hate
another
us. You
Super
didn't
Bowl.
hate them 5 years ago, I bet though. But yeah,
What
I
was 5
understand.
years ago?
Well, we were the Chiefs, the old Chiefs,
Maybe.
I
the lovable losers.
I don't
If you,
I
Don,
tell you
you
what,
lived,
I've always stomached the Chiefs a little bit with Andy. Like I like Andy Reid. Like so I can appreciate them. I'm so sick of hearing about the Chiefs. It's such a like the last 2 years I've been such like the Eagles were awesome to watch that season. And I wanted obviously them to win for Kelsey's last year. And then last year the 49ers with McCaffrey and like they were such a fun team to watch. So like it was easy to root against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Both those Super Bowls.
present company excluded, if you did not grow up in Missouri, but you live close to Missouri, I mean, I can't stand Cowboys fans or Steelers fans either, but the Chiefs fans are just freaking obnoxious.
Oh yeah,
Remember
because you know
the
that
local,
one. What was
who was
that
the
one?
local DJ that
That's what I
had
was
his
gonna
group
say.
in
Yeah,
it
that's why.
Buffalo all the time? Oh
I
my
know.
God, they
I
were
can't think of his
they were
name.
back
Brad
when they weren't
something.
good.
Wasn't it Brad something?
Yeah, back in the days of like, Dwayne Bowe and Steve DeBerg and, Christian Okoye,
Those are two very different
Rich
different.
Gannon. I'm giving you
Steve
three different,
DeBerg.
they're all my era. Okay.
Yeah,
But I'm giving you three different eras. When they were decent, you just still had to, they were like the Steelers. Now, the Steelers are back to that now, I guess. But
yeah.
God, I just could not stomach
Dude,
it.
Steve DeBerg.
I hate's a strong word, maybe. I never disliked the Chiefs because they always had dudes that I like to watch. But
Right.
yeah, I'm sick of. I want someone else to win it. I think that's more than anything. I just want someone else to win.
I
That's
generally
fair.
liked their players. I did. I generally liked to play. I mean, the center Tony that was at Illinois. He started there for a couple of years. They picked up a couple other linemen.
Yeah,
Jason Verduzco was their quarterbacks coach for a while. Didn't get let into the stadium because they didn't believe he was their quarterbacks coach because he was like 5'10" and got in a fight with security. Great
nice.
story. But I never had a problem with any Chiefs player probably, and really still don't. But man, their fans. If you live Central Illinois is far enough away, there shouldn't be
Yeah,
that many Chiefs fans. And God, they were obnoxious.
I know two Chiefs fans, Dom and Steve Beaker. That's it. Those are the only two that I know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them down here now,
Are there?
because of Texas, and they all well, two reasons, right? The Cowboys are terrible every year now,
Yeah.
and then all of these Texas people are like, "Oh yeah, we went to Tech, we love Mahomes, so we like the
Oh
Chiefs." It's
yeah,
like, all right,
That makes
but
sense.
they're
that makes
everywhere now.
sense. Yeah.
I mean, my neighborhood,
The
there's a whole bunch of them.
the uh the Cowboys, I hope the Cowboys completely boffo this head coach hire and hire an absolute
I think they're hired Dion.
travesty. If they hire Deion Sanders, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah,
Like I'm
I,
just telling you, like I know he had some success this season. Obviously, he had success at
I
Jackson
mean, but did
State.
he? But did he really?
he got beat by
But did he really?
BYU by like 30.
He won more games. He won more games this year at Colorado than they had the
I
previous
mean,
like
let's not use
five.
Dom. Let's not use the transitive property here. I mean, as a whole, they were always. I mean, hey, we're going to have a national champion maybe that lost to Northern at home, but seriously, as a whole body of work, with them being on the cover of
Yeah.
NCAA
Oh no,
25 and all this
definitely
crap,
too much
it was
hype.
a disappointment.
Definitely too
13
much
and
hype.
12.
I don't believe old what's his nuts deserves the Heisman. So like a lot of hype around them, yes. But it's gonna be like if he legit, and Dom, you know this, and Brent, you know this, if he legit becomes the head coach of the Cowboys, they're going to draft his son. They're going to try to get Travis Hunter, and it's gonna be the same. But now there's going to be a salary cap. Now they're
Yeah.
not going to be able to go and get all these kids and do all this stuff. Like he's going to have to actually coach football and hire some legitimate people. Um, and it's
He
still
doesn't.
it's still going to be here's my other thing too. Sorry, Brent, to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. I know
Is
you.
is Jerry going to be able to hire a bigger ego than him?
That's the talk
He
is down
got
here.
Jimmy
Yeah.
Jimmy Johnson pulled off a
Yeah.
couple Super Bowls.
Yeah, but that was before
That's why
Jerry,
Jimmy got killed, though. I
and
mean,
that's why Jimmy
yeah,
got fired.
yeah.
And
Well,
that was before.
but they didn't even like each. Hey, listen, Jerry would hire. He would hire Donald Trump if it won a Super Bowl. Okay,
Yeah,
let's just understand.
But when he hired Jimmy Johnson, that was before Jerry was really like Jerry. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
he is his own entity now. Like, and
Yeah.
that's the question: is can he hire? Can two egos, can two alphas like that succeed? And my answer is no.
No.
I don't think so.
Maybe because when he went the other route, I mean, he hired the yes men, Garrett and all
Yeah,
these guys, and they didn't. That didn't pan out.
true.
Listen, Jerry Jones wants rings more than anything, and like I said, I think he'd hire anybody. But I mean, the thing about Dion is, listen, I think he's a great motivator. I mean, if I were a DB, I'd play hard for him as a lineman. I'm kind of meh, but I think he does get the best effort out of players. He does have that, we're a part of something special. But X's and O's, game day, any of that, he's just a
That's
good
not him.
soundbite. He's just a good
Yeah,
soundbite,
exactly.
right? So what kind of staff you would hire would matter a lot.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's not an X's and O's guy. He's a figurehead, if you will. Like
Right. I
he
mean,
is
he's
the
a motivator. I mean, guys play hard for him.
sure.
Dion does reward, I think, the right, that you don't earn your single digit jersey. I love that shit. I really do. I think that's fantastic. But I just, when it comes to game, I mean, the NFL, everybody's the same. I mean,
Yeah.
those guys are all so good. You better have somebody who can scheme. That's all.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't disagree. It's it'll
You need a Herb Fullerton who
stop.
knows. I'm listen, man. For scheming, he wasn't bad. I mean, the Outlaws were the one who we really didn't scheme great. We latched on to 35 in trap and it was awesome. We latched on to 37X out. Other than that, we just played hard,
No,
right?
no.
34X bomb or whatever that one was.
30 fake 32 Z fade, I think. Or
Yeah,
fake,
yeah.
yeah.
Screen to Q. I mean, we had about 5 plays and filler for the rest of the game.
I know.
Set them up.
Those 5 plays were like Herman Boone said.
It's
and
like
remember
the
Titans.
Novocaine.
Yeah.
Works every time.
Works every time.
You know, just
We
like
started
Novocaine.
we started to get a little different when Drew was there. When Drew the year after Dan left, and that was the when the disconnect started a little bit, unfortunately, with like a couple people. I mean, obviously Chris was not pleased with Drew for a time. But we started to get real different. Like some read option stuff, some quarterback option stuff. And then that last year we won the championship when Tyson was calling the offense. It was all like four wide empty because Drew was 6'3", 220 and was our running back. So he'd sat back there, and if he saw a lane to run, he'd run. And I mean that
Well, you guys
I
were
don't know
part
if
of this. You shifted. I mean, you had guys who had been taught technique and actually knew X's and O's themselves, right? I mean, I'm part of this. I mean, the players who were uncoachable but talented aged out, man, and
yeah.
the players who were sometimes as talented. I'm not saying that, but coachable and new schemes, new X's and O's, and had that in their mind came in. Well, then you can do more. Maybe you don't
Right.
have, and I'm not part of this, but some of the skill players, you didn't have the sheer athleticism, but you had guys who were footballers, right?
Oh, we had probably that was probably the most athletic team we've ever had because
I
we
mean, if you
had
didn't have Tyrone Womack and Danny Womack, I'm going to argue with that. But
no, well, because
dude,
we had Marcel Pfeiffer, we had Gary Young, we had Larry Luster. Like
I'm just saying.
Jesus.
we had
Again,
some
guys with college experience,
no,
though. I'm just
we
talking
now
sheer athletes.
our we lacked, myself included, because I was at my very, very end of my career. We were really bad on the offensive line at times. I mean, it was I remember that was, we joke about it last time we talked about how I was very hard on myself, but I was not good. I was bad.
It's
Um,
hard when you can't do what you used to. It's hard.
right.
I mean,
We had like I now again,
dude,
does that roster transfer to an 11-man roster? No. We now a lot of us did go play for the Foxes, which was fun. But we were freaking athletic, man. And we had Benny Briggs. But it was all new talent. I was legit,
You were Brent.
I was the old man.
You
Yeah.
were our Brent.
I
Yeah.
was. I
yeah,
mean, I
well,
was.
more coachable probably. But,
I was 30. Let's see, that was 2013. So I was 32 years old, and that was what, my 10th year playing for the Outlaws. The next closest guy was Nate Bottom, and he was in like year 5. So like I was 100% Brent, probably an insufferable prick. Nobody liked me. I
I
just
mean,
I wasn't.
you say that like it's a bad thing.
I know, I'm saying.
I mean,
I just
the way
wasn't.
you're saying that, I don't think you think it's good.
I just wasn't 6'4", 280, so I couldn't physically be a dominant force anymore. I was just a little fucking punk.
I mean, it was a combination, but again, I guess what I'm saying is there was less of that. Athletically, you're probably right, maybe, or we might agree to disagree. But the guys who never played a down of college football, Tyrone Womack, Danny Womack,
Yeah,
Chuck Ridgway. I mean, there were just guys who just let's go get them. I mean, it didn't matter what you called. I mean, it was kind of undisciplined. You learned it while you played, but
yeah.
I just felt like, what was the point of having more than 8 plays? I mean,
No, I
Tom, you
know.
might speak to this. Like Jamie Ford, one of the greatest wide receivers ever, didn't play a down of college football,
Oh.
right? And I bet when you started talking about, making the safety commit, he was like, do you want an out or do you want a fly? You know, I mean, it's like
Hey,
Yeah.
I can beat this guy in a go. I'm just gonna run real fast down the field.
you point to it's
Yeah.
like the old the funny what is that in like barbershop? Point to it on the wall. Point to it on the wall, man. You got a route tree on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, but
those guys were pretty. I mean, I got to Jamie. He'd been around. He'd been with you guys for a little bit. He'd played a little bit, so he was pretty. He always had a really good feel for where he needed to be. It was
mhm.
the if he had to get on a whiteboard, would he have been able to do it? No, but like he always was pretty smart about like being able to read soft spots and then
Yeah,
also, I mean, 90% of his game was like, I'm just gonna run by this dude.
but Dom, you know as well as I know, those in those days, you could have put if you put every 8FL team in a room together, all 10 teams, all 30 guys on the team, 300 guys and throw a rock, you're not going to hit somebody who can get on a whiteboard. Like
Yeah. Well, yeah, yeah.
there were maybe like you could have got on a whiteboard, Dan, Luton, like there weren't many guys who could have got I mean, I couldn't have gotten on a whiteboard back
Bristow,
then. Right, shut up.
Well, and
There
I mean,
were there weren't many guys that were football. There was
Gensel.
football knowledge, but they weren't football savvy.
but
You know what I mean?
Tony,
Yeah.
even like I mean, and skill players had two more, like quarterbacks. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, right? Wing it and fling it, but didn't work after a certain point because of the talent. But even later years, when you would try to get, you had Boost or you had Cody, and you try to get me to combo block, and I'd be like, listen, point to the guy, fucking point to the fucking guy.
Yeah.
And if if you want one hand first, no problem. But point to, I don't understand, how you want to zone this.
Right.
So point to the fucking guy. But
Right.
and that was a lot. So that was the old group, man. And it was occasionally we'd get a guy from defense. It didn't matter. It was go kill. We'd get an offensive guy who had some legitimate football knowledge from 4 years of college, and it would frustrate the fucking shit out.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one I can think is probably Jake Duro.
Yeah.
I bet when Jake
I'm
Duro
gonna grab
showed
a
up,
beer.
you're
Yeah.
good. I bet when Jake showed up because he played at Northern Michigan. I bet when he showed up and was trying to dictate plays and I'm sure he got frustrated with Chris probably and with Tommy probably and
Well, with us too. I mean, honestly,
yeah.
but the other thing about Jake was, Jake became and still is, I believe, a very awarded and recognized state trooper. How long you can play semi-pro football with us and end up
Yeah.
in law enforcement at that level
I
is
know.
probably limited. And Jake was smart enough to say, I probably should. And I don't even have to focus on my career yet, but this is not going to help me do what I want to do.
I can remember him being in the huddle, or not necessarily in the huddle, but being in the game, and like he couldn't throw, like his arm was shredded, like
Right.
he had no rotator cuff, and he was just luckily at
He
that
still,
time it
I mean, he
was
threw it harder than Salvo without a shoulder, but he couldn't
I
throw
don't know.
very.
Is he back? Can he defend himself?
Yeah, he's back. Right.
Okay.
I'll touch,
Um,
baby. I'll touch.
But he was throwing to Lorenzo Bruce, not
Who are you
necessarily
guys talking about? Pickle?
Jake
Jake
Duro.
Duro.
Oh, okay.
Lorenzo Bruce, who was on the tail end of his prime, Jamie Ford,
Right.
who was arguably in his prime, and then remember Dan played receiver, and Dan was
Right.
a very talented wide receiver.
Yeah.
Plus we had Darren
But Carlos
Severado.
Perry, we had finally shifted Carlos Perry from defense, I think, to offense at that point, right?
I don't even remember. Honestly, I don't
so.
remember. I don't remember Carlos until he showed up playing for the Seminoles again. Like I remember he was out, and I remember he played against Metamora as a DB and
Right.
got burnt, toasted 18 different ways, and then he was gone for like 3 years. And
when we had Jake, Romeo Robertson was a wide receiver.
Romeo's a stud.
Yeah, he was. I'm telling you. But yeah, I mean, and Jake was a lefty. Do I remember that right?
I can't remember. Maybe you might be right.
I think well at Lafayette, I just remember one time I whiffed bad and gave him a lookout block, and he ducked. He chucked it and ducked, and I yelled it. I mean, I literally yelled "look out," and I think that was maybe about 32% of the reason he quit playing, because he got out of the way, and it was Bucci or somebody was going to freaking just kill him. I missed everything.
Yeah, it was.
At least you yelled, "Look out!"
I did. It hurt my pride to do so, but I did. Jake was a good dude.
Incoming.
Yeah, right. Nice.
Ole. Ole.
I had a few Olays in my time. I was telling some guys this past weekend about the time I I hogtied a dude when I was playing college football. I was playing guard and I took an inside step and he shot outside and I just remember as he's running by, I like put my arm on his shoulder pad and just jumped on his back and tackled him and did not get flagged. So that was always a good one.
You get away with
Like,
that stuff. When we were that Red Devils season, there was a young kid on the team that we beat pretty good who he wasn't very old. Um, and I went to cut him and I was late and I rolled him up from the outside and I never felt so bad. I mean, he was a young kid and I mean, he was still limping hard in the handshake line, you know, and I'm like, I was like, man, I didn't get flagged, but
yeah,
literally my face mask was up his side thigh and I
yeah.
felt his ankle go in and he couldn't walk off. And I was like, shit, you know, that's tough. You don't, you know, he was young. I mean, he was probably like 19 and I was 38. So I felt pretty shitty.
You weren't that old when you played for the Red Devils, were you?
It was second to last season. I played till
Red
I was
Devils
almost
was '05, so whatever that was.
okay, 36.
Yeah.
36.
Was
No,
it
no,
oh
Red Devils
no.
was
Red
Red
Devils
Devils
was
was
08, 07
yeah,
or 08.
I was steel,
I was
little
living with
11-man
you
Red
during
Devils.
the.
It was 08 or 9. Might have
Yeah,
been 9.
because I was at the time dating a horrible person, and she came with Brent and I to the game. Um,
Really? I would remember if she was that horrible.
she was the worst person ever.
I swear it was earlier than that,
Common
but I guess yeah,
denominator in
you
that
won the
probably was
Steel
you.
National
He
Championship.
Yeah,
probably
That
doesn't
lived.
think she's horrible. I don't think she's horrible. You think she's horrible, and possibly that I'm horrible. You may be the common denominator in both those
no, she was a
relationships.
horrible person. But I just that was I don't ever remember the game that I came and played. Did we win?
What were the color of the uniforms the team we played?
Ah, fuck, dude, come on.
It's the only way I'll know.
I have no idea. We were at home. We wore red.
I know I never lost with the Red Devils.
Because I don't think you ever played with the Red Devils.
I still that story about Carlos Perry wearing 17, scratching out his salvos in the back. He makes it say SLO for Los. Tries to move the S, but it won't work. But he wore that game up in Indiana.
That I don't remember. I think we won. I think we won because Asa had a punt return
Yeah,
or
that could have been
something.
the
All
game
I
that I
remember
did that.
was you and I were on punt and we went down and we both missed tackles and we came off the field and we were like, we're not going to go out there again. Like it was just we're not doing it. Like we
I think it
don't.
was August, and I again thought I was
Yeah,
going to die.
and we had a ball for a lot and we ran the ball a lot. And I all I remember is after the game, Brian Davis was like, "Who are you and why did I run behind you the
Wait,
entire game?" And
all I know is like there was only maybe 19 players. You know,
yeah,
they're like expecting us to play defense, and I mean, I had again won a national championship with them, and they not everybody knew who you were, but hadn't played with you. And they're like, we only got 19 players. You have to play some defense. And I said, motherfuckers, you got 18 and a half because I'm not going out to
no.
play any defense, man.
No, I didn't play any defense either, but I still think I think more guys ended up showing up because we ended up. I think we won.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have.
We didn't have a full 22. We couldn't have because some people were going both ways nonstop. And there was not a lot of low talent backfill on that team. Everybody was really good. We just didn't have enough people.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I don't know. That was fun. That was a good time. But
Dom,
did I
we
ever
have
tell?
stories that you could participate in. You just had to come to one game, dude. That's
Did
all.
I ever? Did I
Oh.
ever tell you that when I moved to Tennessee, Brent? I played a game in Tennessee.
Just that much in one of our podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So it
talked
was.
briefly about it.
We had a guy on the team who would own like he was the owner, and he played a bunch and he finally convinced me to come play a game and I think we won like 37-0. But it was I think I was in the most pain I've ever been in my life after that game. And it had been like 2 years since I last played,
Yeah.
2 or 3 years since I last played, but it was fun. I looked good. That's all I
Dom, you
remember.
probably agree with this, but even old, if you've hit practice or you've, got the pads, I mean, just remember your first practice every year and how much your neck hurt just from wearing the
Yeah.
helmet
Helmet.
and how,
Yeah.
if you practiced a little, you were probably okay. And even as a quarterback taking those licks. But if you did nothing and showed up for a game, it was a long weekend, man.
Yes.
First game
Yes.
in 2009 was like that because I didn't practice. I practiced at Christmas, and then I was back in Kansas City. I didn't come to another practice, and we played Midwest Crush.
Yeah.
I got fucking tattooed like that. You remember the old Sports Illustrated commercial, Mike Tomzak, when he gets the helmet right in the back and he goes like that? Like it was one of
Yeah.
those. And I remember being
Yeah.
like, what am I doing? Like I cannot, like that hurt so bad. And I come over to the sideline and Pickett's like, got hit there, huh? And I was like, yeah, yeah. And he's like, you didn't see that one coming, did you? I was like, well, obviously not. And he was like, yeah, well, probably not
Well,
going to call that play again. I was like, all right.
I mean,
Thanks.
muscle memory is real. I mean, it really is real. I mean, it's like your body would do something when you've been away a long time. And I like that game we came back and played in the dome, and with the Steel 11 years after we won the championship, or the first game when I was supposed to play for the Crush down on that 111-man season, but they folded the night before, and I found out that the Cougars were playing
Yeah.
that day in St. Louis as well, and just showed up. Um, you miss a lot. I jumped off. I jumped twice on account. New quarterback, but second time I probably should have known. Muscle memory is real. You play a couple weekends, and the next thing you know, your body does shit before you have to tell it to. Right? It's
Yeah.
just you see the same things. But those first games, and Dom, I know you spent 5 hours in a car sometimes. And Tony, you were traveling for a while to play.
Yeah. That traveled from Carbondale one year.
That's a that's a whole different ball game. Like, you can warm up, but you're not ready till about 8 minutes to go in the second quarter.
If that.
I remember we played Prairie State that year in Shelbyville, and it was snowing in St. Louis, and I was driving, and I got crushed with traffic because there was like a jackknifed semi, and I couldn't find this goddamn field. And I didn't get there until like halfway through the second quarter, and it was 0-0. Uh, get in finally, and like as I'm trying to get pads on and everything, Tony Carey and Carlos like, come on, man, come on, come on. Don't even worry about putting that on. Just get on, get on. We get out there finally, and we end up scoring like 3 times before halftime, and it's game's over at that point. But it was just like, man, this drive sucks, bro. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
and I was only there for 2 quarters basically, and then I turn around and have to drive
Go
back
home.
through the snow and
Yeah.
all
How
that.
about how
So,
about yeah, long drive home and getting out of the car. Like you just go to get out of a car like you're a normal person,
yeah,
and then about 20% of the way into it, you grab everything, right? Because you
yeah,
go and exert all that energy, and then you sit in the same position for like 2 hours, and then try to
Yeah.
move. I mean, there've been times I almost fell out of the car because of that. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
My last year playing after we won the championship last time with the Outlaws, and I went and played that season with the Foxes. Oh no, it was the year before. I'd thrown my back out. Like my back was like I'm talking like locked up to the point of I couldn't stand straight. And I still played a couple games, and I can remember one game we were up big, and I said I'm done. Like let Banks play. Banks can finish it out. I'm gonna take my pads off. And I got like I went to get up off the bench a couple times and like crumbled, like folded
that's
because it was
terrible.
just like cramping up. It was so bad. But um, I don't know. I mean, shit. That year I hurt my knee, I wanted to get back. I tried to get back 2 weeks, 3 weeks before I was even ready to get back. And I remember I remember Brent, we went to Quincy
Mm.
and I threw that big ass bulky knee brace on. My knee was still swollen beyond whatever, and I put that knee brace on, and I was like, I can do it, I can do it. And I think uh Tommy and Chris saw me like limping still, and they're like, yeah, you're not playing today. And I was like, fuck.
I do feel fortunate, Dom. Same thing with the Stallions and the teams you played for Seminoles. I feel fortunate we had a backstop to keep us from long term hurting ourselves.
Oh yeah.
Like Chris Lawson loved us and was not going to let us do that, right?
No.
And Nick Pickett had been around football long enough
Yeah.
that if you were injured, and we were dumb when we were young and we loved it. You know, I've had 6, 7 concussions, and even in semi-pro, we don't have protocol, but only 2 of them were football. But people said, "Hey, not right now," right? I mean, we're fortunate in that. I know that some of the teams we played did not have that level of number one knowledge or number two care
No.
for guys, and there are guys who were never the same because of it, you know.
No.
Yeah.
It's I mean, we're still I mean, you talk about it all the time, Brent. This is the only sport or this is the one sport you can't just pick up and play after you're over, and we would still go out there and throw our bodies around like
See, I think we
morons.
should. I think we should. We're coming up on 20 years from the '06 Convention Center game. I think we should rent that bitch out in May of 2026 and do a flag football game.
A flag football game?
Yeah.
I don't think you could find enough people. I don't think how many people are like there's got like I hate
There
to
are less
say
than
it.
3 on this podcast. I will tell you that right now because I'm not fucking going to do that for a second. There's no, dude, there's no way.
Oh,
No way.
Maybe
brutal.
maybe we'll just get together and watch it. How about that?
Screen it.
Dude,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, so we got to find it.
I
Somebody
know.
said, I can't remember if Chris said he had or Alex. Somebody, there was a post a little bit ago on Facebook. Somebody has it, but
Oh, really?
I can't remember who it was. I
Was it
think,
Pickett?
no, I think it was Chris. Chris said that Alex had it. So,
Alex does not have it. I have all the games. Alex has there's clips, but he does not have the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, you have to understand. Alex now stays in. He may have it. I'm just going to throw that out there because you know Alex lives in a 6,000 square foot house, and it's just him and his wife and 4 cats. That could be anywhere in that house.
Wait,
Um,
he doesn't live in Springfield anymore?
him and Chris have this. I don't want to say it is kind of a trailer park. They love it. Don't get me wrong, but there's these lots they've bought out in Virginia because Chris still works for
Yeah.
DoD, I think, and no, they spend a lot of time out there.
Oh, so they
He's
still have
still
the
my
house,
neighbor.
but they
Right.
okay.
No, it's
I
still my
got you.
neighbors, but yeah,
They're
they
just
have this
not there.
place where they live a lot of the time. I don't know. They remember Chris talking about emptying his own toilet and all that stuff. That's apparently where it is.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if Alex needs me to stay at his house for long periods of time, I'd be more
yeah,
than
all
happy
right,
to.
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still like my favorite house, going over there and hanging out. And I remember Brent, you were still around, you weren't playing anymore, but you were still coming to games and stuff. And obviously Chris or Alex was still there videotaping. And after the game, we'd all be kind of we'd be at we'd be at Knights Action Park or we'd be wherever, and we'd be getting undressed and having a beer, and we'd all just bully Alex into letting us come over to his house. We'd
Yeah.
be
I
like,
mean,
"Oh, we're gonna come over and we're gonna grill up some hot dogs and hamburgers and stuff." And he was like, "Guys, I gotta go to work tomorrow." We'd be like, "Oh, we'll be fine, we'll be fine," and then we'd be there till
dude,
midnight.
before
And
I moved into the same neighborhood as him, I have some old JPEG'd out 210, HZ video of Troy Helton puking out of a car in Alex's front yard. And
Jesus,
Alex being like, "This is Panther Creek, man." You know,
people live
yeah.
here.
And
Yeah.
by the way, back to the NFL playoffs, the
Oh yeah.
worst thing about
It's a
the
good segue.
Yeah.
the
Right. Yeah.
Steel,
Good
worst thing about the
segue.
Steelers' loss is the Lawson's Super Bowl party will be awesome, but it won't be fucking amazing. Okay,
No, it was
because the
always
Steelers aren't still in it.
it was always a good time. You know what the best part about Lawson's Super Bowl party was, though? There were so many football people there that when the game was on, everybody shut up.
Yeah,
Everybody just watched the game.
yeah.
And then, then the commercials were on and whatnot, but you could actually, like, I can't go to a Super Bowl party at most places because I actually want to watch the
Watch the
game
game. Yeah.
and not have to talk to people or
Yeah.
answer questions or and that was the good thing about the Lawson's party. At least the couple times that I was there was you could just watch the game.
Well, any female that would attend that with any of us has been around football long. I mean, and again, I'm not trying to be sexist, but the reason that most Super Bowl parties suck is because people go for the party, and about 80% of them are females. There's some dudes who hate football too. Any girl who went to that party already put up with enough shit about football
Yeah.
that they knew a little about the game and knew better than to, try to bother us when we were watching it. I guess I don't know, but that's the truth, dude.
Yeah.
And now it's funny. Now you guys have been gone a while. Me and my kids go down for that party.
Hmm.
My daughter, who I've taught to gamble and is in 6th grade, wants her name on the square as quickly as possible. I want, Dad, give me $10. I want to get my name on the board. It's, so it's fun. And people have aged up a little. Kids are there,
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah. Is talking about kids, is Brock still home or do you go back for
No, Mizzou starts next Tuesday.
good
He's been
Lord?
home for a solid month.
Did
Wow.
did you make him get a job?
No, he went and worked actually on his own. I give the kid. Um, he had to write a check for taxes this past year. So
Yeah.
like a high school kid who sang downtown as part of a troubadour group and who did the after school thing at Little Flower, owed like $145 in taxes, and I told him, don't ever. If 47% of our country doesn't pay taxes, And you, as a part-time worker for a high school student, don't let anybody tell you the rich don't pay their fair share, Brock, because you're above the 47% at this point.
Yeah,
Now, he's got no deductions, and I'm happy about that. That means no kids.
that's
So,
good.
but he's a hard worker. He
Good.
is, and he made the dean's list at Mizzou. I'm very
That's
There
I
we
proud.
saw
go.
that. That's
Oh
very cool.
boy.
That's good. His first year, right? He's freshman, right?
Yeah, he's a freshman.
God, you're getting old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man, I'm older than most parents, and I still got a sixth grader. So, poor planning too.
What's she as we talk about
I'm gonna
nothing
laugh
football
at you
related.
so much when you have a fucking middle school daughter. It's gonna be
Oh,
so awesome.
God.
She's 2.5 going on 15 right now. So we get in the car today. I picked her up from daycare and we get in the car today and she goes, I wanna listen to Rudolphant. And I said, Rudolph, what? Rudolphant? She goes, I want to listen to Rudolphant. And I said, what are you saying to me? And she goes, Dad, I said Rudolph Hunt. And I was like, you little SOB, I'm gonna smack you in the head. She takes after her mother. She's a little
Oh, yeah,
sassy pants.
you
So
deserve
I
every
know I
single bit
do.
of it.
I know I
Every
do.
bit.
Dom, it's not too late, buddy.
Yeah, no, I'm content with my 2 chocolate
You
Labradors.
you're good with
God,
your
oh,
niece.
My niece is a handful, yes.
I,
She is a
oh my God, I
pistol.
hope somebody catches you so bad, Dom. You can't even imagine how much I cannot wait for you to be
You
parading
got
some
a
little
you got a
girl around
you've
in
got
sheepskin.
a lady friend, don't you, Dominic?
I do,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Not that serious.
not that she's gonna listen,
Dude,
so I
this
don't
is
really give a
video.
shit,
What are
but
you doing to him, Shipman? What
What?
the
no, no,
fuck?
it's
This is out
it's
there.
I know.
it's serious, yeah, but I mean, it's only
Do you guys
serious
live
till
do you
it's
guys live
not.
together?
No, we don't actually.
Okay. Maybe you should see if she wants to move in with you.
I'm trying. I
Do you
said
call her
something to
Okay.
her.
Hulkster? Do you call her the
I don't
Hulkster?
call her Hulkster, no. But she did. I will tell you a story. I'll send it in the group text. One morning, Brent, we woke up. She goes to the gym with me sometimes, and she had this solid red, like leotard type thing on. And I was like, there's only one song I can play in the kitchen right now, Real American. And I just
Nice.
blared it. And she was so mad. And I was like, wait, it's crashing down. And she was like, stop playing that song.
Hey, you look the part, you got to act the part,
So I
right?
gotta find that video because it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Nice.
But yeah, so no, she's something else. She's a Chiefs fan now, so that's a
Good.
plus. But
We're
yeah,
getting old, fellas. We gotta. This is what happens when you get old and mature. Dom, what can you put your arm down again, Dominic?
put my arm down.
Yeah, just put the arm that's up. No, the other arm. Is that a little bicep vein I see there?
Oh, dude, I'm pretty cut up, bro.
Look at
Come on.
you. Look at I
You're
need
still
Dom's
working
I
out,
don't
workout
have
dude.
any
routine.
kids. I just work out
I
every
need
day.
work out and go to work. That's
That's
it.
all I do. Yeah. I'm in
Oh,
better shape now than I was when I played. It's
It's funny
ridiculous.
how that works, isn't it?
That's
It,
crazy.
it's that I got my best shape. You're in good shape, Brent. You're
no
always in
shit,
okay
dude.
shape.
I have lost weight, but dude, I honest to God,
I got in my
uh,
best shape when I stopped playing football. Like it's
Yeah.
like
football was the
35.
only thing that kept me in shape. Honest to God, if I didn't have, I mean, I hate working out.
Yeah.
I hate running to run. If it's not
Yeah.
part of a sport, I just
I
can't do it.
don't
I mean,
run at
I've
all.
lost the
Yeah.
weight, but it's getting pretty soft. And like Kenny Powers, man, fundamentals are the crutch of the talentless. Right. So,
Kenny Powers.
I
Do
mean,
you
just oh,
talking about getting in shape, do you still go to any wrestling events?
I may do a charity one again this year since I've dropped some weight and feel pretty good about it.
Yeah.
It's been a couple years.
Okay.
I miss it. It was so much fun. I
Yeah.
mean, just imagine getting Tony.
Well, you always had good mic skills.
Oh my God, and like Dom as a quarterback, just imagine if you got to promo for 2 minutes before the Outlaws fucking
Yeah.
Stallions game back in the day. That's really what was the appealing part to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's very
Very good
cool.
one. Well, hey, let's do this before we sign
yeah.
off. Let's get some picks in for this week, and we'll see who
Yeah.
Go bears the
Go,
best.
go
You got
ahead,
him in
Dom.
front. Somebody's got to have him in front of him.
I'll write them down. I've got.
Hey,
'em
before we
front.
jump into that, can we all just recognize Illinois' first 10-win season in 24
Did
years?
they get 10? Nice. There
Yeah,
you
that
go.
was
Yeah.
the 10.
And
I just want to talk about how much I love Brett Bielema
oh my God, dude.
talking trash. That was
To
awesome.
Beamer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beamer's
The
a
first
bitch.
thing was the announcers got it wrong. And the second thing was if you didn't see the Ole Miss player who used to play for South Carolina do his end zone celebration. And again,
Oh,
as a
yeah,
Illini
yeah.
fan, I did. And he choreographed acting like Beamer because Beamer
I
talked a lot
saw
of
that.
trash about him after that game. That's amazing. The
Well,
second
and
thing I just want to say about that is, when Bielema made the signal, it was about the signal to stay away from the ball.
yeah.
Number one, Beamer got that approved by an officiating crew, and that's a player safety signal.
Oh yeah.
Whatever crew approved that should never work another
No.
game again. And a
No.
coach who asks for that, I'm glad for the kid at Ole Miss. And again, of course, I'm very, very biased. But Bielema got a bad rap on the broadcast, but Illinois fans don't have to cry about it. So
Right.
I'm
Well,
thrilled. Mizzou had a great season, Dom. Kudos to them.
Yep.
the coaching side of me, I like the not to then we'll get the picks. I like the Justin Stepp because I'm friends with his brother on Twitter, so that was cool. You know, the guy who got fired by South Carolina, turning around and beating
Yeah.
South Carolina as the receivers coach. So that was pretty cool. But all right, Dom, what do we got?
Chiefs Texans. Who you guys got?
We're not
Chiefs.
picking the spread, right? It's got to be the Chiefs.
No, just
I
just
love
heads up.
Stroud.
We're just going.
Stroud is a wonderful person, but they can't hang.
No, that's Chiefs,
All
especially
right.
in Kansas City.
There we go. Bills Ravens. This is a tough one.
Where's
Bills
it
all
at?
day.
It's in
Bills all day.
Buffalo.
I'm
Brent's
gonna go
taking-
Ravens. I think this is the Ravens' year, man.
I'm taking the Ravens as well. Brent, you
Yeah.
said Bills.
Yeah, I do. I like the Bills there.
All right. Lions Commanders.
Lions. God, please, God, Lions.
I
Brent.
tell you what, Washington
No,
Uh-oh.
they're tough.
I mean, Washington finds a way to win. That's my
Yeah.
thing. They're like the team that refuses to lose. Um, at Detroit in the dome.
He's really thinking about this
I
one.
know.
I am, and it's crazy, but I'm gonna go. The Lions will win.
Yeah.
All right. There
I
we
can't.
go.
It's just not enough. But I
And
love the
then-
Commanders.
Last but not least, Eagles Rams.
I hate to say it, but probably the Rams.
That's who I'm taking too.
Like, unless if Saquon gets rolling, that'll be tough because he's really, really good. But the Rams looked really, really good against the Vikings too.
Yeah.
Like they could do no wrong.
I like the Eagles. It's at in LA, of course, right? But
No,
I
it's
actually,
No, it's in Philly.
It's in
it's in
Philly.
Philly. I like the Eagles a lot even more than because some Rams fans will get murdered in the stands.
Yeah.
That will be a distraction.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
Yeah, I actually like the Eagles there.
Yeah.
And then last but not
Yeah.
least, Notre Dame, Ohio State.
God, please God, Notre Dame. It pains me so much to be rooting for Notre Dame, but please God, Notre Dame. I cannot stand Ryan Day. He is
Yeah, I
the
hate
most
him too.
insufferable coach next to Shane Beamer. Please God, please God, please God, all about Notre Dame. Do your work, God.
Brent.
This is tough. I mean, you're Jewish. I'm Catholic,
I
and
know.
I want Ohio State. I mean, Ohio State,
Well,
Michigan is a game I root for Al Qaeda.
You're a
I mean,
Big
I'm
Ten.
just telling you, bomb the stadium. I don't
You're a
give
Big
fuck.
Ten. You like the Big Ten though, Brent.
I
You're
thought you
always
hated
gonna go
Ohio
Big
State.
Ten.
I
You said
do we
Ohio
really
State,
do we
Dom?
really want a
I'm
situation?
taking Notre Dame.
You're
But,
taking Notre Dame.
I think Ohio. And listen, what Ohio State did to Oregon was
Yeah.
They're
They're
of
hot.
mythic proportions, and I don't know that we ever want to have to address a mythical Northern Illinois Husky national champion. So I'm going to go with Ohio State on this one.
Ooh, Brent's going to a couple upsets.
So, I mean, are you guys fucking? You guys pick the same.
Yeah.
You guys pick the same up and down the line.
we talked
quarterback
before.
and centers. We're always
I'm
on the
guessing
same
on three
wavelength.
things. You guys are nuts. Yeah.
That'll be what is that Monday? Is that Monday night?
Monday, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a
Yeah.
good one. That'll
Hey,
be a good
real
one.
quick before we jump off, though, I don't know where we are on time because we got started late.
We're about ready to go.
Okay, let's talk quick about playoff system. Did it work? Did it not work for NCAA? What do you guys
worked.
think?
I think it
fine.
worked. I think it showed that the SEC look, did Indiana get their butts handed to them by Ohio State?
It was like the best loss of the first. I mean, it's the first night, right? Turned out to be the best loss.
So I think they're on the definite right track. I think 12. I still would like to see them go 16, like the D2
Take the top
and the
16
Take the
teams.
buys away.
the D2 and the FCS version.
Yeah,
but
exactly
I think they
like
got
that.
it right. You know, you get your. I would have liked to seen Army in there too, but obviously they weren't the Group of 5 pick or whatever. So I think they are on the definite right track. I do would like to see them go the NFL route and reseed. I think that would be
it'd be
I
that
think
interesting.
would
it's hard
be
for, but if you do the bowl games, the second round, colleges
That's
can't
tough.
play.
Yeah.
I know they got to
sure,
figure out a way to do that.
sure,
And I agree with you, but I just don't think it's going to be logistically possible.
Yeah.
yeah.
Take the
I
top
think
16 and do something similar to like the BCS rating where you factor in strength of schedule for getting that top of 16
yeah.
because
I think they're definitely on the. It's better than 4. They're on the right track,
yeah.
but there are some tweaks that can be tweaked.
What do you got, Dom? You agree?
Yeah, I think you take the top 16 and run with it. I didn't have a problem with the way it shook out. I mean, I didn't think Arizona State should have been in it. I didn't think they had a chance to know, but that's also, I think you got to wipe out the at-large conference champion thing. I just don't think that matters
Yeah,
because then you're going to get teams like Arizona State or, from the Big 12. The Big 12 is terrible.
it is. Hey,
So
I think if you're, I think on the flip side of that, if you go those, I think you should just do all conference champs. If you win your conference, or like win a conference championship game, like hey, you're in the playoff.
Yeah.
But
so
that's a not a hot take.
so when it was P5, okay, and I don't know how many. What do we have now? 4 conferences and an
Yeah.
at large. But
Yeah.
when it was P5, I think 8 was the number. I mean, because here's the deal: it gives you Notre Dame, like it gives you back in the day Boise State, Utah, whatever you need, and it gives
Frankie,
you the team who had to play a championship. I did like the fact this year that they did not penalize teams who had to play in a championship game and lost. Right? I think they did the right thing there.
Should
Um,
have. SMU shouldn't have been in, but
well, but what do you do? I mean, Alabama
that's what I'm
cried and
saying. You got to
cried.
look at the
Alabama
strength of
cried and cried, got
schedule.
their ass handed to them. South Carolina cried and cried. Had Illinois beat that fucking clown show from Minnesota, they got to talk to us. Had Missouri not just shit the bed against A&M, they got to talk about them.
Yeah.
But 8 was the number I thought. And maybe I'm crazy because I still like the bowl games too.
I do
Oh, there
too.
we go.
can you
The
say
bowl
hey?
games.
Can you say hi?
Hello.
Hi,
Say hi, everybody.
hi,
Hello, cutie.
hi
You
there.
want some ice cream before bed? You should tell Daddy to get you some ice
No,
cream.
she can't. I got
Um,
my headphones on. She can't hear you.
So I mean,
Lucky.
I'm not sure that 16 might be the number. There's always a 17th, always a 13th
Yeah.
team. Maybe 8's the number because
Well, right.
and then you don't do this home game stuff because I hate that. I really don't like the home
I
game
like the
stuff.
FCS setup, like you said, Tony, the D2. I
Yeah.
used to watch that every year on ESPN. That was my
I
favorite football to watch.
But people
I
in
want
football, for
more.
some reason, people bitch about the blowouts and forget in the NCAA tournament, some teams get beat by 50.
Right.
I
Yeah.
I don't know.
I want more teams so that players play because I can't stand the opt out crap.
That sucks.
So that's the worst. But
They got to
In
fix
basketball, when a game's a blowout, you still have some plays to watch that are exciting. In football, when a game's a blowout, it's dribble out the clock,
Yeah.
don't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
And that gets that, I think less teams is better. If it was still 5 conferences, 8 teams, P5 plus 3. You got your
Yeah.
Notre Dame, you got your conference champ that shits the bed, and there's always a 9th team, but I don't know.
that. So do you think Illinois could beat Arizona State?
Well, yeah, I mean, we beat South Carolina, who thought they were going to,
Yeah.
I do.
Or
And so,
SMU? I mean, I think Mizzou would have beat both of those teams.
But
So,
what do you do with the auto bids, right?
Yeah.
If you strap it back to 8, Arizona State plays the best team, period, right? And it's over, right? And you get, I don't think you make the conference champ. Reseed them all, seed them all. Conference champions don't get any special
Right.
treatment if it's Arizona State. Let the people decide who they think is better.
yeah.
I don't know.
they got to
It'll-
do something about it, though. I mean,
Yeah, it'll be
especially
interesting what the changes are because there's gonna be some.
there's going to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too. I think you got to get strength of schedule in there big time, but
Yeah.
that way teams don't start doing the.
Who's your college ride or die, Tony? I know Dom's Mizzou. I'm Illinois.
I don't have one. Navy, I
I was
guess.
going to say Navy. Used
Like
to always be.
I've always been a huge Navy fan, but like I like Michigan. It's more I have more teams I dislike. Like I don't like Ohio State.
Just like people. It's like people.
Yeah, exactly. And I like coaches too. Like I like watching coaches. So probably Navy, then Illinois and Michigan.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I grew up Mizzou, Notre
college
Dame,
is
and
like pro
Illinois.
now. NIL transfer portal.
I know.
I used to love college because you got a guy for 4 years.
Yeah,
I know.
And it stayed static. It's different now.
It's so
Every
different.
by the way,
So different.
every SEC quarterback, all the way down to Vanderbilt, is making more than Brock Purdy this year.
Yeah.
Fucking insanity.
It's got to end eventually. It can't.
You can, it's hard to pull it back. It's hard to pull back the curtain once you open it. The thing is, they should have done it a little bit in steps. You can't take it away from these guys.
No, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
No, but I think they got to put a salary cap on it or something.
What they're gonna end up doing is they're gonna end up signing contracts.
Yeah.
So they're gonna sign the if what's the guy at Illinois, Aller?
Oh no, you're talking about the quarterback.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Luke Altmaier.
Luke's Altmaier. Yeah.
Altmaier, sorry. So if Luke Altmaier signs with Illinois at a high school and signs a 4-year contract for $5 million, but he decides to leave, well, he's got to break that contract. He's got to pay out that contract before, and that's what's going to end up happening. But the college should
still be on the hook for the education. I think you get in for an education. You can't shit a kid out of a free education.
Yeah, but how much like these kids that are going
just because you recruit a new middle linebacker doesn't mean you should have to come out of pocket for 20 grand of college.
I don't disagree, but how much are these guys even going to class? Like that's my question. Yeah. Like
some
of these dudes.
Hey, it's no coincidence.
They're not even on track to graduate.
It's not a coincidence at all that the year everybody can legally pay college athletes, the SEC shits the bed. Okay,
right?
Oh, come on.
Everybody can now pay them, and it's now legal. And the SEC has their worst bowl season ever.
They also, the greatest college football coach in the history of the game, also retired before the season.
Yeah, that's true.
That's not the whole conference, bro.
Hey, that's all right. I'm
not talking about Mizzou here. I'm really not.
I know.
The sun goes there. I'm not going to dog their academics. But
who's Mizzou's head coach? That's terrible. I don't even know. Don't touch
Eli
things.
Drinkwitz.
Oh yeah, Drink. That's right. Yeah. That's right. All right. Yeah. Obviously my boss is in here, so I gotta go, fellas. We will talk next week. Are we gonna try to get a guest, or are we just gonna talk about the game?
I'll work on Big Rich if you want, and I promise to. It's been a crazy couple of weeks, but Tony, I'll try to get you some footage of a couple old games that I got.
Okay.
Even if I just have to share them.
It's been very busy, and you've had quite a bit going on, so we'll get back on track now, and I'll get this posted, so we'll get back on track. So
someone track down Alex and see if he really has that game from 06.
I'll send him a message. I'll message him.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
All right, go Texans.
All right, boys.
See you guys.
Go Texans, this guy.